How are we today on 5 days away from my solar return? On the 5th day of Zemus. So, yeah. 5th day till Zemus. We are gonna talk about 3 aspects today. Venus, which is still in Scorpio. It's about 23 degrees. I want to talk about Venus trining Neptune in Pisces. Trine means the elements, so Pisces and Scorpio are both water signs, are having a quick reaction to each other, supposedly in a positive way. But Neptune and Pisces, as most astrologers and I talk about, can be a lot of delusion and illusions. Venus is the planet of love and beauty, and Venus is trining, having good conversation with Neptune, so good that it might be delusional conversation. It might be so good that Venus is in so much love and can't see the flaws of Neptune at this time. Neptune is so dreamy to Venus. So, and then, Venus and Scorpio loves hard, loyal, intense. And Neptune is just as intense with its illusion. As you can see, the world now, being in Neptune and Pisces for the last 10 years almost. It'll be moving into Aries in another 2, I believe. Kazane is that's Neptune and Pisces generation is the alpha generation, so all the kids that are like under 12 are Neptune and Pisces right now. Like 12 to 21 is the Generation Z, the Neptune and Aquarius, the guinea pigs, the ones who were on medication for the first half of their lives. Anyway, that's Venus in trining. That's Venus trining Neptune, and the reason I picked that aspect, is because Miss Soul Ra's Venus return is like around Saturday at the 25th degree of Venus being in Scorpio. Mine was when it was at Venus in 6 degrees. And being that we have Venus in Scorpio, it's been really tough because Venus in Scorpio is in its detriment. It's at the opposite sign of where it should be in Venus in Taurus, because Taurus is ruled by Venus as well as Libra. And it's just Venus is overwhelmed, to say the least, in Scorpio. When she moves into Sagittarius the day after my solar return next Wednesday, it'll be a little more free flowing. She'll be ready to go shopping and getting her thing back together. But then Mercury will be in detriment, and that's the other one planet we're getting ready to talk about, with the sun being in Scorpio, that is also in Scorpio. Mercury and the sun are in Scorpio, and they've been in Scorpio in a cazimi, meaning they've been conjunct for a while. They both are squaring Saturn, and those are the other 2 aspects we're going to talk about. But saying all this, I had to touch on that one, because I still think that me and Miss Soul Ra might not see each other's flaws, need to still be healing before we come back together. But I can telepathically feel you, boo, that you do want to say something, and I do too. So let's continue to heal. Mercury, hold on. Mercury and the sun. So the sun is in Scorpio. I'm not sure the degree, I didn't look. So my degree is 22 degrees, but the degrees can move around just a bit. When I look on the November 15th, it might be on 22, it might be 21, it might be 23, it depends. It'll be around there. So it's still like in the second decan. And the second decan is the Scorpio decan of the degrees when you're talking about Scorpio. So it would be like the first decan, 0 to 9, would be Cancer decan. 10 to 19 is the Scorpio decan. So we're like in the heart of Scorpio season right now, basically. And the last decan is Pisces decan. But long story short, the sun and Mercury in a cazimi, they're conjunct, so they're blending their Scorpio energies. Mercury is the planet of communication, information, so that's why I've been on here talking so much. Even though my Mercury is in Sagittarius, I've been on here talking so much about Scorpionic stuff, because Mercury's in Scorpio. And everybody got something to say when Mercury's in Scorpio, and it may come across a little rough. It comes across rough in Sagittarius too, so be prepared for a minute to get said to. Plus, Mercury is Gemini's ruler, and Mars is Scorpio's ruler, and Mars is in Gemini, and Mercury's in Scorpio. So they're in each other's. They're having a mutual communication right now. There's a lot tying into this. That's yet another aspect that they're having the mutual communication between each other, simply because their ruling sign is in each other's planets. All right, so they are both also squaring Saturn, which is in Aquarius, because it's a fixed sign. Okay, remember, anything in Leo and Aquarius, but there's nothing in Leo right now, is going to square anything in Taurus and Scorpios, because that is the fixed signs, the 4 fixed signs. And anybody who has any Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, or Leo placements is going through it right now. Shout out to my Leos, because I know a lot of Leos, y'all don't even have nothing set right now until the moon hits Leo again on my birthday, and next week, and because the moon is in Gemini right now. That's the other thing. That's another aspect. The moon is conjunct Mars in Gemini in retrograde right now. So let me get back to Saturn with the moon, with the Sun and Mercury. So the Sun square Saturn is exposing the authority that humanity needs to take. I can't express this enough, how this is 2 days after Election Day, and everybody that voted feels like crap because, well, especially in Pennsylvania and Illinois, I believe, because they did not get the candidates that they want. We didn't get the candidate we wanted in DC either, but again, like the message I gave yesterday, we were in the Pluto return, so this is all an illusion. Thank you, Neptune, once again. Media is telling y'all lies. There was a red wave, but even if there was a red wave, everybody in the red wave ain't swimming with the flow. Them fish is low fish swimming and high fish swimming in this Neptunian, Piscean generation and energy right now. Everything is a facade. I was listening to an old Naughty by Nature song before I started recording, and then he was telling, it was the song about him talking about his rough life and you don't need to come to ghetto and all this stuff. They could have been just rapping, y'all. They've been gassing us up for years, and it's coming out right now. So don't believe the hype, okay? Let that Neptunian and Scorpion energy, because all these planets in Scorpio are going to try Neptune too, because of the water sign trines that happen, like what Venus is doing right now. Mercury and the Sun are following right behind Venus, so they're going. Everything is hitting Neptune right now, and that's the illusional part. Okay, that's the illusional part. So don't fret. The Sun is exposing that. The Saturn is the planet of responsibility, and are you being responsible in paying attention to this stuff? That's why it's being squared. There's a conflict there. There's some stuff you're unconsciously still, all of us, because it's me too, unconsciously we're not paying attention to details, which is when Mercury goes into Sagittarius. We got to talk about paying attention to details. But Mercury square Saturn is the information that is coming from authority, from the things you're supposed to be more responsible for, is hitting you in the face intensely with Mercury and Scorpio. That's why this is a square in conflict, because all this shit is hitting y'all in the face and y'all keep doing it. Y'all keep voting like this shit is going to change when we're voting for literally the same fucking government, the same people who got taught by the government, who have to work for the government and going to get paid by the government, whether they do right by us or not. Saturn is in Aquarius. Aquarius has to deal with humanity. Step up and be your own governing person, individual. Let me say this last little piece, because I'm almost at work and I need to calm down and get myself together. I'm gonna quote Molly. I wanted to say a quote from Bracha too. Molly McCord is one of the astrologers I listen to, and so is Bracha Goldsmith. But I'm gonna quote Molly because this is what's fresh on my mind. She used the words in her weekly Wednesday podcast yesterday. Should. Just that word should. And she was using it because she was talking about how her friends all felt that they should be married, and so should she. So they would have their friendly like brunches together once a month, and they would throw their shoulds out at her, and she had to learn how to accept that that's what they were going to do. The other word is accept. And I use accept so much now because even Miss Soul Rice told me this, you have to learn how to accept. I have to learn how to accept that we are all individuals. We all need to learn how to accept that we're all individuals. So then that ties in the other word should, and that we should be able to be individuals and not that we should have to be in competition or comparison, which is the word that Molly used. So her friends would use the word should. You should be married like us. You should be looking. You should be doing this and that. And that was also the comparison. You don't have to be like somebody. The energy for Aquarius is being unique and an individual within a group. Therefore, the square between the Sun and Saturn in Aquarius, the Sun in Scorpio and Saturn and the Saturn in Aquarius, has to deal with you as an individual, the Sun showing your ego, the Sun showing your brightness, the Sun showing your expression and energy, showing you that you can separate from the rest, because Saturn has to do with the collective, and Aquarius is in the collective sign. But you can separate yourself from the collective and still be an individual. If the collective doesn't, that you're looking to compare or feel like you have to compare yourself to, is not accepting of you being an individual and the shouldas don't hit you, then you find the group that will accept you as the individuals and not going to push you to be in comparison. Okay? Scorpio's about releasing. Release these energies and release this control. I felt like I had to fuss and cuss this morning on this cycle. The full moon and eclipse energy is still heavy in the air for the next 2 weeks to 6 months, y'all, to 2 years. Remember I said we had this energy until Jupiter is out of 16 degrees in Taurus, which is what the eclipse was in. 16 degrees Taurus moon. So, and 16 degrees of the Scorpio sun. So then that means it would be like the 18th degree of Scorpio today. So yeah, we're at the end of the second decan. And Mercury's in the same degrees. So yeah, and releasing with the South Node in Scorpio. So remember, let's just, to conclude all this, everything that's in the fixed signs right now, there's 4 positions in Scorpio, 3 planets and 1 asteroid, I guess, or a node. So we have the Scorpio sun, which is about at 18 degrees today. We have Mercury at 18 degrees of Scorpio. We have Venus at 23 degrees. We have, and remember the degrees end at 29 and they move into the next sign at 0 degrees. So, and we have the South Node at 13 degrees. And the South Node goes in retrograde. The nodes always go in retrograde because they move back into the sign before. So by next July, we'll be in 0 degrees of the Scorpio South Node and the Taurus North Node. And then it'll switch to the Aries and Libra node at 29 degrees. All right. We have Saturn in Aquarius at around 16 degrees. Saturn moves slower. It'll be in Aquarius though until it moves into Pisces around between January and March. I can't think of 2023, but I do know that Pluto moves into Aquarius, which is another fixed energy, y'all, and a whole nother level because Pluto is in return in Capricorn. So when this return ends, it'll be a whole new thing. When it was in Capricorn back in 1700, like, you know, 1760 to 1776, when we create the Constitution and nobody follows anymore. Why? Because this Constitution is dead and null. The empire has done its 250 years, and now it's time to create something new. So when Pluto moves in Aquarius in March of 2023, that'll be something new. It won't even be this government. Maybe it'll be more of us individuals finding our social groups and governing ourselves. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. Y'all have a great day, and I'll check in later.